Cold War. Have we got a shovel ye today? Everyone! Ha ha! Looky now. Everyone, get in here! Everyone, get in here! Right, let's roll! Right, go! Everyone, in here!
It's tracking me!
Sorry! Everyone, in here!
It's tracking me!
Sorry! By the power of Ragnarok, I have the power! Ready for story time? I have the power!
Welcome back, everyone, to yet another amazing and exciting episode of Tavern Talk. Bringing in Season 2 the same way we brought in Season 1, with everyone getting in here. Awesome show. Lots of stuff to talk about tonight. Finally getting into season content. I had a lot of fun in the off-season, but I am fucking excited about tonight. We're going to have our very own JediNinja here with us tonight to help kick Season 2 off right. We are going to be going over some power rankings, and hopefully that'll make these house rules make a little more sense to you. Whenever any of us claim that team is too high, whether that be just in a casual comment, oh, you have them up there, or too low, it doesn't matter. When the Harry General's rank is discussed, yeah, you'll be hearing about that one quite a bit tonight. Whenever Cassie downplays Team Rank 5, because I think all of us have the ability to see, and we are not blind to the fact that they're pretty good. They're pretty good. And whenever they're pretty good. Whenever I say entropy, as I tend to do, that one might be the most liver failing rule of the evening. I don't know, man. We'll see what happens. So, with me as always, to my left, your right, is the one and only bearded beauty Slimsh. How you doing this evening, sir?
Doing really great. Really excited about the new season.
Aren't we all, sir? And taking up his spot right down here below me, holding it down as always, is Mr. Cassie. How are you, sir?
Put your faith in the light. It's week 1.
It's back. It's back. And then, we have another bearded beauty with us here tonight, and that beard is coming in quite manly.
Thank you.
We have the one and only Jedi. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Dude, really glad you could make it. Always love having you on the show. So we got a lot to get into, so I don't want to waste too much time. I know you guys can't see it, but real quick, folks, I'm going to show you guys who haven't seen it yet. On the far left, you will see the blog team, or THL AP, or whatever this anonymous individual called themselves, the ranking that they came up with on the blog, to which we asked you, the community, to give us that set you see there in the middle. Everybody's votes were taken, calculated, and averaged out. And this is what it came out to. You folks happen to think that Cassie's very own Team Rank 5 is sitting up top.
Right.
But, I mean, let's be honest. You guys didn't come here to see what you said. You already know that. You want to know our opinions on the matter, because let's face it, our opinions are the only ones that do matter.
Of course.
Harsh. So all week long, Slimsh, Cassie, Jedi, myself, we had a little fun in a spreadsheet of throwing together who we think fits spots 1 through 16. And I'm imagining what we're about to do is probably going to cause a little yelling at one another. If not, I'm going to be disappointed in us. But, we're just going to throw them all up there at once, man. I hope this is big enough for you guys over there in the corner to see, because I did not full screen preview. Yeah, you should be able to read that all right. If not, let me know, guys. I'll bump it up a little bit. We don't have to see my face. I'm on here enough. But this is what we've come up with. As you can see, our names are on the top, and our teams and their respective divisions are below. You see color coordinated everything. I think Slimsh brought that up. He's so cute in spreadsheets.
I did. I just, I was curious rather to see if things were actually balanced between divisions. So I was just curious where things would
Looks
end
like it
up.
depends on who you ask.
It really does. If you
Yeah,
ask
that's
Cassidy,
really
then
interesting.
we done goofed. Because
Yeah.
3 out of 4 of the blue teams are in the top
It,
4.
if you ask Richard, apparently the red division is stupidly
Yeah.
overpowered. So,
And green sucks.
let's, before we, I see, the difficult thing about this is, I was about to say, before we get into the teams, let's get into the divisions, but I don't think you can really talk about the divisions until you talk about the teams. So,
Yes.
I probably should have talked about this beforehand, but do we want to take this, I think we take this from the bottom to the top, or do we kind of just point it out as we see it? There's so many ways to go about this. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna get straight to my point. Um, why is there's such discrepancy with the Harry Generals? Jedi, what is going on with your team that some people,
Drink.
I think that we maybe in past seasons the Harry Generals have gotten off to slow starts 2 seasons in a row, and we've gotten into the playoffs both of those seasons, but it may have kind of led to a perception that I don't know, we're just kind of getting lucky getting in there, but I think it's more off to a slow start. We've got a new player as our 2 seed who's unknown, and I think people see 450 PR and they aren't impressed.
He's a stud. Talk more about this guy, please.
Yeah, I mean, Poker is an awesome player. He's been busy most of the off season, so we're just starting to get to play with him now. So we may have our trademark slow start again, but he's an awesome player. In December, he finished top 50 on ladder. I'm not sure how we did in January. Probably not as well because he was so busy. But he's an awesome player. We're expecting that he's going to move up to the 1 seed, and Andy's going to be in the 2 seed. And that 1, 2, 3, we thought was going to just be the best 1, 2, 3 punch in the league. And then, well, some other things happened like Supreme and Team Rank 5.
Yeah. Well, for those who might be looking at our rankings here, the Tavern Talk rankings, and thinking, what do they talk about such discrepancy? I'm going to bring up the previous graphic for you guys real quick. Both the THL AP have the Harry Generals in the lower half, whereas you guys on the Facebook survey had them at exactly middle.
Yeah.
So if I noticed somebody had messaged me saying it doesn't seem like that big of a discrepancy. Yes, between the 4 of us, it does not. But throughout the community, there seems to be mixed opinions, and I definitely think that once folks get to know Poker, it'll be a different story.
Yeah, and I noticed too that there's a few teams that caused us to throw our rankings off of one another, and the Harry Generals is one of those teams. Even though they're only maybe a few spots higher for Richard and I than they are for you or Slimsh, you can see with them and Zenergy and Archon Storm, there's not a consensus as to who is currently ranked on top of that little group of teams. And then every one of us has a little sleeper team we want to throw in there. And that's really messing with the top half of the bracket. And at least to me, I think the Harry Generals are more in the upper, the highest tier as opposed to that second tier. And because this poker Andy Rogers thing is really, really strong. And you still have Detrucci anchoring his 5 spot like he always does, and then Boom Boom Hall was a solid 2 who's now playing as a 3.
Now it's a 3.
That's a scary team, man.
It's really scary.
By the way, for those of you playing along at home, I don't even know how many times we just talked about them need to be higher or being ranked lower, or just while we're talking about the Harry Generals, just keep drinking.
Just keep it going.
But I did find this to be interesting, and I want to say I was talking about this perhaps with Slimsh, is that one of my major contributing factors in, I know that I ranked the Harry Generals a little lower than everybody else, but there's that there's definitely a correlation between the higher you ranked Zenergy, the lower you ranked the Harry Generals. You can even follow it. It's like an X right through the middle of our chart here.
Yep.
It was no disrespect that they ended that low for me, and I was actually debating a spot or 2 lower, but and Slim, if it wasn't you, correct me on this, but DeTrucci was actually one of the factors that caused me to even want to put them higher than I do have them currently.
Right.
Yep.
We do know that there's some teams out there, pure strategy, that have been known to punt the 5 spot or their lower seeds. But if you could lock yourself down a good 5 seed and count on that week in, week out, or if they grow to become higher than a 5 seed, it's definitely in your favor to do so. It's nothing but beneficiary to you.
Yeah, but you look around the league, I think that trend is starting to change. There's a lot of really good 5 seeds out there, and a couple seasons ago, DeTrucci was dominating as a 5 seed, but he's got a lot more competition now.
Yeah, yep, for sure. I like that growth though. I also think that too, though, is that the 5 seeds that aren't new have been doing this long enough that we've learned from those seeds above us and improved, and I think that's what the THL kind of does to any player is help you get better. I think that anybody that's been in here for more than go ahead.
If your 5 seed's not getting better, then you're doing it wrong.
Exactly.
You have to water the potato.
Yeah, just look at Jack Sox winning all these firesides.
Yeah, hey, and Slims, you got to play against my buddy there, and I hope that we can keep.
They were rank 8 legend yesterday.
And Eric, well, I think it's funny that Necro Havoc actually was talking about running into him in a tournament just now, so he's like starting to weave himself into the community. I'd like to bring him in. He's a nice guy. But there's a couple of other things I found to be interesting that we all had mostly different opinions on, and that kind of seems to be this elephant in the room that is Archon Storm. Which I like to bring up because I want to know what my rivals are up to, and I seem to have them. I mean, Cassie and I have them in the same spot, but everybody else seems to have them a little higher, and I'm worried I'm sleeping on my rivals here. So
I can tell you where I approached it from, if it makes sense.
Yeah, let's hear it.
So anytime I've read quote unquote power rankings for anything, it's always like in the moment, right then and there. So like if we were to drop it all and play a 16 team tournament right now, Archon Storm has said over and over, and almost to the point of suspicion, that they are going to be casual this season and they're not going to try very hard, and
don't believe it.
The Viridae emails are going to die and all of that. And so right now, right this second, I think on talent alone, they're still, right around that halfway mark, probably a little bit on the top half of the league. And if that's the case, then sure, they're probably out of the championship discussion, but they're still really, really stacked. My opinion on Archon Storm is if we do this again even a month from now, they're going to be a lot higher because they're going to lose a couple weeks that they feel they shouldn't lose. And then that fire is going to awaken in Viridae, and he's going to start rattling away at his keyboard and sending out an email that rallies the troops, and then they're going to be really good. So like when I look at the league right now, I see Archon Storm as being lower by their own doing.
That's why I have
interesting. Actually, if you look at the well, we're going to look at it a little bit. The Facebook results will get posted eventually. Archon Storm was quite high there. Maybe not everyone's privy to this inside info where, Archon Storm, by their own admission, is going to kind of take the season a little bit lightly, but I don't take it seriously at all. I think they're going to be more or less their same own selves and just with a little more style this time.
They have too many competitive personalities on that team to... And let's be honest, some of those guys, even their 3/4 speed is better than a lot of guys' full speed. So even if they are taking it easy, they're not by any means an easy task to handle. So I kind of agree with the mentality of after they lose one or two that they think they feel they shouldn't have lost, I think they're going to wake up and come back full force. And to your point, Cassie, if we do this, 4 weeks into the season, I think we see them much higher than they are here.
Yep, that's kind of how I feel.
I'll call it right now. Archon Storm is going to be the biggest failure at being casual since those filthy role players.
Wow.
Oh, wow, that was awesome.
Shots fired. They got that for what, a whole week?
Rip.
Yeah, they were in that race for about a week and a half.
You know, let's take a second to talk about them because we've been hanging out to mid to top side here. This is another team that a lot of us it, tend to disagree on. And it might not look like much, but you have myself and Cassidy putting them second to last. And you have a little more faith coming out of Slimsh and Richard for the finishing of those filthy role players. With additions such as Alex Straza, right? Do we see maybe a little bias from last season flowing over? Is this potentially, get ready to drink, guys, a case where we might be putting a team perhaps a little lower than they deserve? Maybe they should be up there where the Slimsh in that Slimsh area. What are you guys' thoughts?
I could explain to you why I put them there.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't so much that I thought that they were going to be in that spot. I just kind of what I did was I kind of filled out the bottom and then filled out the middle. Like I just think that looking at the teams below them, I think they should be below those filthy. In my opinion, like I think Noob Central lost so much after last season, and I don't even think they spent their PR quite as much as they could have. Like they're a good amount below the cap from what I saw. They lost a lot. Top Deck Kings, very new to the league. They're going to have a lot of familiarization going. And the Dream Team also had quite a bit of money to spend at the end of the day. So, I don't know. I thought that those filthy role players with a little experience in the season, keeping a few players, picking up Alex Straza, who's pretty highly regarded as from the field of potential 1 seeds that we're able to pick up. So, I don't know. I thought they earned a pretty good spot there, and I think they'll do decently.
Yeah, just to your point, to keep facts accurate here, Noob Central did leave 150 PR on the table.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot. Like that speaks a lot, just in terms of where you're getting ranked. Like,
yeah,
I don't know. There's still stuff to happen there. Really.
Which if we look at and you look at teams that did improve, you know, last season those filthy role players had one 400 level player who I believe by the end of the season, I should know because I picked him up. I'm pretty sure he dropped below 400, and the rest of the guys were in the 250 and under range. So vastly improved as far as PR goes, but a few untested personalities in there, and then the 2 returning members in Josh Sampson and Casually Foxy. So I would like to see them succeed. Just because I would love for that rivalry to be reintroduced between the Gosu casuals and those filthy role players who wish to once again be casual.
Being casual is great.
In Noob Central, we all kind of seem to be in agreement on that, except for you, Richard, who you seem to have a little bit more faith in the noobs than the rest of us. Where does this faith come from, Wise One?
It's a gut feeling. I've got nothing to back that up.
Didn't hear a thing.
We got him back now, though.
Hello.
Yeah, we got you.
There he is.
We got you.
All right. I wasn't muted. No, it's a gut feeling. I don't really have anything to back that up. I think that I mean let's see. I know that Cutthroat has been performing really well in the 2 spot. I think Nate is super strong at 3. Stiller is new, so we'll see how he goes. If he turns out to be better than average in the 1 seed, then I think they're looking pretty good. I mean, he doesn't even need to be. He can just be average, and they can finish that strong.
All you have to do, gentlemen, is be average to finish strong.
Well,
Kappa.
I mean, I've got him in the lower half.
Yes.
But you do have them much higher, which, by the way, is a team too high comment. You should be drinking at home. Than most of us. There is one team that we all seem to be in agreement with. And by seem, I mean we are. It is the only time that all 4 of us straight across the board said, "Yup, that's the team." And that would be the new guys to Frat Row in the Boom Squad. I approach this much like Slimsh, where I started with what I knew was the top what I knew was the bottom, and then filled in accordingly. They literally ended up dead middle for me because I didn't know where else to put them. I think they're a team with
Kind of how I feel.
they're a team with so much potential. So much potential. Will they use it or not becomes my question. What do you guys think?
Boom
I
Squad.
could yeah.
Name is perfect because the way I look at this team is one of two things is going to happen. They're either going to drop a bomb on the league and start winning matches against everybody, or they're going to implode. Like, you put so many powerful personalities together in a room, and everything's great right now because you can talk all this mess and not have to back any of it up. But like once you start losing, that's fun and laughter and oh yeah, man, dank memes. Let's dunk on people. Like that starts to go away if you're like 0-2, 0-3, and so I don't know. Like I think they have the talent to just kind of beat teams. Like Asuna is a 350 player in the 4 seed, even though she's new, and D Lyman is starting as a 3 seed again. And even though he had a rough season, he's a really good player. He just played on Tuesday Night Hype's day 2 yesterday. And we know Brunson has experience in the league. They can play with anybody on paper. So as long as they're doing the prep work, which it sounds like they are, then they're going to be a really solid and formidable team. I don't think their talent level is like quite elite, but it's really good. So I think having them right in the middle is actually it's a nod to them as a new team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's where I put them, just because there's a little known. Like we feel pretty solid about them overall. There's still a lot to figure out. Asuna's completely new. Danny Wu's completely new. We think pretty highly of them. Asuna in the Wicked Wednesday in the first round. So
Yeah,
I mean that says a lot if that's what your 4 seed's doing.
Mm-hmm.
Then kudos to you. Tiny Hippo don't know too much about. We know that D Lyman coaches them quite a bit, and that's obviously very helpful. Brunson, I got question marks around him. I think he's pretty good. It's just he hasn't seriously approached Hearthstone in a little while.
I agree.
Normally he likes to troll around ladder with the good old Mill Rogue,
Yep.
brother brand Mill as it's called. So I don't know. There's a lot of question marks, but I think they're going to be pretty solid overall. Plus or minus a few spots higher or lower than where we place them.
They're taking their developing rivalry with the superheroes very, very seriously.
Yeah.
And we know the superheroes are approaching the season seriously. So if for nothing else, Boom Squad is working hard to beat them. So they got it. They'll be in it.
Well, we'll be able to know very soon what the Boom Squad's all about. As we currently speak, Twiz is facing off against Danny Wu. So
okay.
we will have the first results in maybe even before the end of the show if they remember to submit immediately. That kicked off about 20 minutes ago
exciting.
for them. Also, Twiz is not notorious in our circle. We we don't always immediately hear from him. Aussies in their Aussie time. They're in some magical land down there where they do things a little differently. I forgot to mention something as we were talking about Archon Storm earlier because it was kind of how I wanted to package the Archon Storm deal. Was I also noticed that there was a correlation between Archon Storm and us over at Entropy Drink.
Hang on, I gotta post a dank meme in the chat.
Yep, you get that dank meme down. And I want to make sure that I'm saying this entire. Yep. So in the AP poll, they had us and Archon Storm flipped. In my own little version, I have us above Archon Storm, but it seems like almost universally we're in essentially the same spots. We are not like a 4-5. It's what is that? That's 4 and 6 that we kind of keep going back and forth between somewhere in those ranges, but it's flip flopped.
Yeah.
Whichever one's like higher and lower in those two spots. I know in my mind, there was definitely the thought process of if I think we're gonna beat them, I think we have to be higher than them. If and vice versa. Did that cross any of your guys' mind, or did you just approach it as the 16, and that's where you felt Archon Storm felt, or that's where you felt Entropy fell?
I just looked at it as the 16. Like I didn't think that a team that placed higher than another to beat them. Like this is Hearthstone. There's going to be variance. I think teams that are within a few certain spots, like any spots really, have the potential to beat one another. I just kind of went with gut feeling throughout in the 16. I didn't think about one-on-one matchups too much. Although you could look at it that way. Like if teams are 8 spots apart, I think, especially if you average a few sources together, that probably has a pretty strong indication of who should win, and maybe by how much. But it is hard to say.
Yeah, there's a few teams that seem to have correlations, but like they're not directly resulted, such as we pointed out earlier with Synergy and the Harry Generals. Even though they will face off in cross divisional play, they're not in the same division. Whereas, you think about it, if we beat Archon, we go ahead of them. They beat us, we go. So it's one of the few matchups where I really noticed a correlation between two teams that were also in the same division as far as flip flopping. We were talking about the Boom Squad and them trying to fire up this rivalry with the superheroes. I'm going to ask the question in a way that's going to sound rude, but I'm trying to ask it in the way that I'm thinking about it. Because I think this is why I like to call it Brunson situation. Are they for real or not? Right? Because you think about Brunson as a player, he has the potential there, but as we all said, he's a dank memer who's been away from competitive play for a while. Are the superheroes for real? Or are they going to feel the struggles of a new team with a new captain in a very competitive THL this season?
Well, we know Super Sam's really good, and he actually won his match this week 3-2 over Adidas over there with Continuum. And we know that he brought in a guy involved in esports, not a competitor in esports, in Vicious Syndicate Beast Mode, the guy who runs Vicious Syndicate. And he's their 2 seed, which I think even to be a manager of an esports organization based entirely in Hearthstone, to my knowledge, or primarily in Hearthstone, you got to know a little bit about the game and how to play it. But he lost to Almace 2-3 this week, so they're tied up right now. My giant question marks with the superheroes are the 3 and the 4 seeds. I am Plan B, aka Donnie Wrench, is new to the league. He's kind of into that dank memer role. I haven't seen him play the game. I don't know how good he is. I know he talks about how much he likes to drink while he plays it, which is a solid benefit if that's what your team's looking for. I don't know anything about this Jerry Damage character, but he could be solid. He could also be not a true 310 PR in a good or a bad sense. I don't know. And then we know Monkey Warlord's a good player, and he learned a lot from Sam last season. And in the 5 spot, you can do a lot worse than that. So there's just a lot of question marks everywhere. I think team continuity and practice schedule is going to be a big question mark because those guys come from all over the map. And, can they come together and practice together? But the potential's there. I'm a little more skeptical of them than Boom Squad because I've already seen Boom Squad interacting, hanging out, practicing, talking about the game. And I haven't seen that from the superheroes yet. But that's just because I'm biased because I sit in Discord all the time. So
they're in Discord as much as you are. At Team
they are
5 roughly. Boom Squad, and that's saying something.
But how many times are they in Discord doing Hearthstone things?
That's a good question.
More than you would think.
I know that the meme channel has some dank Bernie Sanders memes in there, which for those of you watching the debate, I'm sure Jedi would like highlights posted in the chat for him.
Half hour.
Go Bernie.
Oh, it's at 9, not 8. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool. So I'm gonna put you right on the spot, Jedi. Here's me, you, a man-to-man question. Why do you hate Slimsh's team?
Oh man, I love Slimsh's team.
Oh, they went.
I
down,
love
down,
them.
Down.
They look a little too low for me. Drink.
Don't back away, Jedi.
If you just look at the roster, I mean, Jing Buddha is a great player, but I know that he's really busy lately, and he's just not getting the time to prepare and practice as much as he wants. And as a 2 seed, I think he's going to continue to struggle. Adam, I think is maybe just a little bit underpowered at the 3 spot, and Michael is great in the 4 spot. And I don't know Odefin, but I think if you just look at how their players match up, I love your team, Slimsh, but it just doesn't line up well.
Yep.
Yeah, that's fair.
Losing Lemur was a big blow.
Yeah.
I think that was a big loss. And like Jedi said, Jing Buddha used to be, and I don't even remember this because I, read the Bible Thump novella. I didn't know anything. But I guess he used to be like the top dog in THL. And it feels like he's being caught up to a little bit just because IRL is preventing him from improving at the rate everybody else is, which is totally fine. It's not a diss at all. But I don't think he is an elite number 2 anymore in that sense, or at least last season he wasn't.
Mhm.
And like Jedi said, the 3 seed feels like it might be a bit underpowered, but they have the reigning MVP. And I think my thinking is Hearthstone is Hearthstone. And so I don't think you're going to go undefeated again, not because you got worse, but because it's Hearthstone. And
Yeah,
I
it's gonna
think
be
last
really
season, if
hard
you
to
don't go
do.
undefeated, all of a sudden, I don't know if you guys have as great of a season as you did anyway. So, I expect a little bit of fall off from a couple Titans this season.
Wow. We shall remember those Titans. So, did we touch on Team Supreme yet? I don't think we did. I think I
No.
just thought we did. So I think that we're all in agreement. And I'm pretty sure the community agreed with us before I open my mouth. Let me double check on that. Actually, the community disagreed with us, but close enough. Team Supreme falls in the top 3 somewhere, right?
Oh, I don't know how the community can debate that, but I
Well,
agree.
they tried to.
They
So
did. They were 4th. What are you guys doing?
who's gonna put the knowledge on them? Who's gonna drop some knowledge right now to let them understand? Because the other piece to this is that with all of us being active in the league on the administrative side to some degree, we're involved in some talks and we get to know some players before you guys do, right? Like we
Mhm.
have insider information, if you will. So who wants to drop the sick knowledge on these folks about Supreme? And it was stated in the AP press. Can Cheesy? I'm calling him Cheese E because there's an extra E there, and it makes me happy. Um,
Yeah.
can
Yeah, cheesy.
can Cheesy fill the shoes of MV Parker? Who wants to field that question?
I guess I will. MV Parker's great. Nobody can fill his shoes. Hey, buddy. But Supreme. Here was my thinking, and I was the only one to rate him number 1. My thinking, again, going back to like right now, if we were to throw down THL, Supreme is loaded at the top 2 spots with Cheesy and Dear Jason, both of which have qualified for the Winter Championship preliminaries. Like they have
Yeah.
enough BlizzCon points that they are playing that. And that is the same format that we just switched to. And so Supreme, I think, has 0 adjustment period with the new THL format as opposed to a lot of other teams. I know I have a huge adjustment to it because I don't really play tournaments outside of THL. And that's the way for most of us. Dear Jason, Cheesy, people like MV Parker, Poker, those guys that do this all the time are used to this format, and I think it's really going to benefit them. And I know Moo is super involved with their team, so she's used to that as well. Same with Prometheus. And I think they knew this Brainiac guy coming in. Like he's already kind of part of their circle. So I think he's a little familiar with it. So you have really good players, you have really good talent, you have people that know each other, and they're already used to playing in this format competitively. So I think right now, if we had a playoffs, they would be the favorite to win it, supposedly just built on that.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like a. I was looking for some snarky comment to throw in there, but that's pretty spot on. Slimsh, your thoughts?
Yeah, the fact that they have guys who are, actually playing in really legitimate Hearthstone events outside the league that have World Championship implications. Not only that, but just looking back, Cheesy played in Last Chance Qualifier for 2015 BlizzCon for North America. Dear Jason was there himself in 2014. These guys have been around Hearthstone for a while. They've always been very competitive. And I don't know, they have a presence there. They have a presence here in the league too. Up top, they're just really, really dominant. I think we were talking about that 1-2-3 punch earlier.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Harry Generals have it pretty good, but I think Supreme has it even better. Of course, that does weaken them at the bottom. I think Harry Generals are better there, obviously. They're more well-rounded, but you just can't beat Supreme when it comes to the to the top. When your players have to play against you, Jason and Cheesy, you are extremely scared. At least you should.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about a team with a top tier 1 seed player playing as the 2 seed.
Yep.
You know?
Yep, sums it up.
Yeah, that's a pretty damn good way of looking at it. So now to go from a potential top to, I misspoke earlier when I said Boom Squad was the only team we agreed on. There is one other team that we all agreed on, and also the community agreed on, and the AP poll agreed on.
Oh,
I feel bad because I love these guys. Good group of dudes, have a great deal of experience playing against Rad Dreams in the league. Shout out to the Dream Team here. All right, so we got them at the bottom. They finished at the bottom last year. You look at the roster. Not much has changed since last year. The only real addition in the positive direction is adding in Lemur, who is moving to the 4 seed from a 5 seed. One of the strongest 5 seeds in the league last season will be trying to hold it down the 4 spot this season. Do we see the improvement I so dearly wish for them happening for the Dream Team this season? Crickets.
I mean, again, I'll go and look at it right now. They just had too much money left to spend.
$250. They're a whole 4.5 spot under cap.
I mean, they've got pretty good players. I mean, you can't really discount them, but overall, in the end, there's just been done with the team overall, and that's just not a good way to start. I mean, they've got plenty of room to grow. For all we know, they've all improved tremendously, and they'll do very well and grow into a team there. But it's not a good foot to get started off on. I think that's kind of why, they're there. I mean, I think you can't take them too lightly week by week, but just overall, like, PR is very reflective. The PR system does work, really. I think we've seen.
Yeah, if you've been over time, if you spend I think it took about 2 seasons for me to land at my correct PR. I feel like I have the PR that I deserve. I mean, shit, I've played since Alpha and I haven't improved at all. So
I think you're going up.
Go me. But as I look at their team, I really, as a captain and looking at the build, I find myself wanting in either the 2 spot or the 4 spot. When you look at that 250 PR that was left over, it makes me feel that, like, you could either grab a 450 and bump comp down, or a little higher in the 4 spot with what you got there. It just, I don't know. Like, you look at it, it's kind of an awkward build. But my hope is that Lemur continues to have the success he had at the end of last season, and it plays the 4 spot. I want to see him play out of his mind in that 4 spot. I want to see him give Gideon and Zather a run for it. So
yeah, I'd like to see that too.
Which brings us to our next team, because I'm going to combo these two, because I feel like they're one and the same right now, and I feel like my analysis will probably, for once in my life, be the same as the rest of yours. The 2 podcast teams. We have one known entity through the podcast teams, coming on behalf of Alec, who played as Noob Central's 1 seed last season. Literally every other player, the other 9 players involved, are a toss-up, except for Hunter, who we did see on the Tavern Talk Showdown, but that was kind of in unison with Alec. So my thought process was, yeah, they got legend players, yeah, they got good players, but what do we know of them? What do they know of the format? What are we going to see from them? What are your guys' thoughts? Jed, I would especially like to hear from you, seeing as you were kind of one of the point people in bringing these podcasts to the league. Do you think we got it right? Do you think it's too little to tell? Do you think Cassie is out of his mind, putting them up there at 4? Looking at his face right now, he's smirking. Like, what do you think?
I mean, yeah, 4 seems optimistic to me. I think that the Golden Wisp Did anybody put Top Deck Kings above the Golden Wisp? I don't think so.
No, I think we all have them below them.
In a lot of cases.
No. Yeah.
I mean, but it's a guessing game here. I think we know that we know a little bit about the hosts of the shows, right? Because from listening to their shows and they're talking about their ladder experience, but other than that, it's just a guess. And I think that the breakdown of Team Golden Wisp looks a little bit better, and I think a lot of that has to do with just us seeing Alex history from last season, right? And like that carries Team Golden Wisp a long way in the power rankings.
Yeah, you can't discredit his performance last season. Although I've been told that I perhaps give him a little too much credit for it, but I'll admit to that. I'm a fan of a lot of players in this league. Like I don't just play in this league. I watch a lot of what we do. I don't think I've missed a Salty Saturday yet, even if I've had to watch it on my phone while someplace else. But definitely a fan of him, and think that he does carry a certain weight and respect with him as he goes to his new team that he's leading. So he does have that advantage of not only is he on this new team, but he's leading these guys through the trenches that they're experiencing for the first time. Mm-hmm. So Cass,
Hunter's voice is so melodic.
So melodic,
Very
man.
Melodic.
Although they're ranked a little too high. I just opened a fresh beer and needed an excuse to drink it. So
too high.
So Cassidy, do you want to defend your 4-spot pick there at all?
So I guess I'll just say it. I am a fanboy of that podcast here after about 3 weeks of listening to it. Hunter and Alec both have a really, really strong mind for the game of Hearthstone as a whole and seeing everything in it, which usually lends itself well to winning best of fives against other players. And I think that they're going to take this really seriously because Alec, he did himself last season. I'm always a little skeptical when these guys come into THL and they're from other venues and they have other ventures outside the league. And Alec, he was no exception. I was like, oh, he runs a podcast. He's probably decent. He's hit legend. He's a really good player. He's really committed to understanding and learning the game. And Hunter, based on hearing him talk in that show match and hearing him talk on the podcast, is kind of the same way. I think he's the same caliber of player Alec is. And so you have two really good players on top. They're good friends. They work together, and they're kind of running this team together, which is awesome. And then roster-wise, I don't think they're at a huge disadvantage. Like maybe in their 4 seed, they're only at a 230 PR. That might be like their weakness. But Chef Sasha cooking up dudes in the 5 spot, putting them and I don't know. It's just a team I'm rooting for. Like I don't have to play against them, so there's no bias there. Like I'm really hoping they go on a nice little run here. And I think Alex and Hunter are both good enough to kind of lead the way there, especially in Blue Division, where it's really strong, but I think they match up okay. I don't think they're at a disadvantage really anywhere.
This is my only question, though. Cassie, if your power ranking's accurate, how badly did we mess up with the Blue Division?
I guess we'll find out.
I guess we'll find out.
I think
so.
That'll
be reflected of the green. Then.
Yeah, if this is accurate, then we messed up, and we'll have a little bit of a readjustment, as Ben Brode likes to call it, coming through season 2.
I do have to say, as we talk about the last team there is to talk about here, prior to sitting down and doing these rankings, I'm pretty sure I've had discussion with all of you guys at one point or another about how strong I thought the Orange division was going to be. And then I look at this now, and I'm like, nah, we're good.
Yeah, I think you can definitely make the case that Orange is the weakest division.
I don't know if I would call it the weakest. I would say that according to what we see currently on the screen, that would have to go to the Green division. God, I could talk. I would say that you kind of... Yeah, go ahead, Slims.
They seem really close, actually.
If you look at the average amount of teams in the top 4, right?
I mean...
Xynergy and Gosu Casuals are the only ones that break in there, and the Gosu Casuals only break in once, right?
Apparently we don't belong there at all.
So Yeah, well, you know what, Senpai? I appreciate you. Um,
Oh, thank you.
I think the argument could be made in the same breath that blue and red seem to be doing okay as far as staying
Mhm.
represented in the top half, but unfortunately, under the same situation, you have Archon Storm and Entropy kind of riding towards the top, and then you have Continuum and the Dream Team falling down clearly to the lower half of the. So possibly some imbalance there, but we'll have to see what happens with it. Um, I did not see those messages come through, but I'm going to assume it was about Jedi stepping away, and
You're right.
he'll be back in just a moment, folks. So
He will.
we'll kind of visit a team that we talked about briefly, and then we'll go to the last team we have to discuss in full. I know I mentioned Entropy in relationship to Archon Storm, but I don't know if we actually
Oh, that's a
stated.
drink.
I don't know if we stated why we put them where we put them.
No, I don't think so.
So while we're waiting for Richard to get back, let's kind of finish up that thought process. I put us where I put us because I think we're going to beat Archon Storm, and I can't put my own team below Archon Storm. I did try to look at it
Got
as
'em.
objectively as I could, folks. But let's hear from people not on Team Entropy.
So
Oh yeah.
I look at Entropy directly, and it's funny. In my final draft of these rankings, I did these a few times. My final draft, they shook out right next to each other. But I look at Entropy as the new quote-unquote Zenergy that we've had in the past, where they are just balanced top to bottom. They have an average or above average or even good player, I think, in all 5 seeds. And in THL, that always lends itself to success. Like, Entropy's not punting away anywhere, which is really important. I don't know if they're dominant anywhere. I think the biggest argument you could make is Furpo. I think Furpo is probably on the very short list of best 3 seeds in THL, along with that guy from Carolina that sleeps in a doghouse for Team Rank 5. But Firpo is a really strong player. Twiz came back. I don't think Twiz has ever spent a season as the 1 seed. So while I think he's a really good player, I don't think he's a top caliber. I would put his win rate expected probably around 50% or so. He'll probably go like 4-3. That would be my guess if I were to put a record on Twiz. Salt comes down a seed after getting beat up by 1 seeds. I feel you, man. It sucks. And he gets to take that knowledge and play against 2 seeds, which can only benefit him. I mean, he's beaten me every time I've played him. He's a really good player. And then Firpo, Zather is a big question mark to me because he last played a long time ago. But being a 4 seed, he can kind of learn on the fly a little bit to an extent. And then Jaxox is over here winning Fireside Gatherings, and he's your 5 seed. So I don't think any of them outside of Firpo are quote-unquote elite players in their slot, but they're all good. And usually that gets you wins as a team in THL, and so that's why I have them up as high as I do.
All right, so it looks like we got Jedi back, which brings us to the spot to talk about. So who's on top? And
Who's on top?
with the exception of Mr. I don't want to jinx my team over here, it was pretty unanimous that Team Rank 5 deserves the number 1 spot, at least in the preseason. I know I have my thoughts, but I talk a lot, so I open this up to Slimsh or Jedi first, because I'm sure Cassie's going to have some humble comment about being humble and not wanting to jinx his team. So
Jack, shh.
Check. I could talk first.
Yeah, go for it, man.
So last season, it's no secret, Team Rank 5 made it to the finals. I think a lot of people were expecting them to take it over the noobs, but that was not the case. I would have put Team Rank 5 up very high if they were to remain more or less the same as they were last season. I'd probably put them at number... I consider putting them at the 2. I'd probably put them at 2. I might think 3. But with the very recent pickup of MB Parker, I feel like it pushes them over. I just had to give them that 1 because their composition, just where they have like X number of 2 seeds sprinkled out throughout their team, and the ever-rising Jesus, as well as MB Parker, who's got a thirst for vengeance I've been hearing about.
His blade
I
be
don't
thirsty.
know. I see them doing big things this season.
Yeah, that lineup is just crazy. It's just crazy. I mean, like,
Guys, lineup
it's
is crazy.
they got exactly the one seed they needed. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
right?
mean, it's like the Archon Storm from last season, where everybody's like, "Wait, is that right? Like, add that PR up again." You, I mean, no offense to Mange, but MV Parker is way better than you.
I'm sure me just sitting in his newfound coaching chair going, yep, job done.
Yeah,
I'm going to crack a
yeah.
beer, put my feet up, and enjoy this one.
Yeah, I think everybody when we heard about that was like, "Wait, is that possible?"
You know, you
Turns
hear
out it is.
you hear about like, all right. So here was my whole thought process. Right, Murdoch's
Don't
leaving team.
forget Killajive.
Murdoch's leaving Team Rank 5. Good. Take those sons of bitches down a peg. They pick up Killajive. Fuck.
Not
All right.
Killajive.
Then there's the moment of, wait a minute, is this a typo? Did Jedi put MV Parker on the wrong team? Where did Mange go? Shit. So, I
Thought he
mean,
quit.
you look at the second place team from last season, and they go roughly unchanged, right? And now you throw in these all of a sudden improvements. You know, like if you take the second best team and they only got better, and the team that won it, arguably, only speaking PR wise, guys, not, don't take this the wrong way. You look at Noob Central, and objectively speaking, they got worse. You can't help but to just objectively, on the numbers, bump Team Rank 5 up to number 1. If the number 2 team gets better and the number 1 team gets worse, like, where's the argument against that? Unless your name is Stephen Cassidy, who clearly thinks that his team is not the best team, which
Nobody is taking
Right now, today. I don't
Cassidy.
think we are.
Yeah,
Right
Yeah,
now,
that doesn't-
today.
that doesn't even count.
By the end of the season, who knows?
so at this point, you guys might be like, all right, you've been talking about this for an hour. You're talking about your disagreements and your agreements. What does this all lead to? So Slimsh and I were trying to think about this and how to make one definitive list from Tavern Talk to combat the THL AP list, the THL community list, and kind of let you guys know what we here at Tavern Talk think. Couldn't really come up with a good method, and then within like 30 seconds of being invited to the spreadsheet, Jedi gave us the answer. So this is all 3 lists side by side. What you see on the far right is the 4 of our opinions taken, given values, averaged out, and this, according to the four experts, I know I'm not on camera right now, but I'm air quoting it, folks. This is what we think preseason it looks like at the moment. So take a moment, take a drink, enjoy this side by side view, and also, I'm just gonna go ahead and put it out there. I think this THL AP thing was awesome. I really appreciate whoever did it, but I really wish there was a name attached to it so I could have picked your brain about it. So
I kind of like the anonymous thing. I think that's
it
kinda
is cool, but I just want to know, man. I
You're
want to
weak.
know. I
Out
want to.
yourself.
I want to
I need
know.
to put out. I need to put out there on behalf of THLAP that these THLAP's rankings were submitted while Mange was still on Team Rank 5 before the MV Parker pickup. So I have,
see, look, they were number 2.
I have to think that Team Rank 5 might move up to the top of that list.
I do have to give. Hey, listen.
We're fine where we're at.
If nothing else, I have to give him a shout out for giving Entropy the highest rating of any of these lists. I appreciate you, team THLAP. You go, you do your thing. So this brings us to the next point, right? So if this is where all the teams are, if this is where we think they shake out preseason, actually, you know what? I'm just gonna leave that graphic up for the hell of it. Nobody needs to see the Tavern Talk logo right now. The next, not argument, but thing I want to discuss, and I'm pretty sure I ran this by everybody. If not, I'll give you a moment to think about it. I don't want to rank 1 through 4 in each division.
No.
Because come playoff time, that doesn't matter. What I want to know is who are
getting in?
who are the 8? Who are the 2 from each division that are coming through? And we can list them, we could justify them, or we could just sit here and shout at each other. I think for some divisions, this is a lot easier to do than others. But who wants to draw first blood here?
Oh, it's so easy for me.
All right,
I'll do it.
let's go.
Yeah, go for it.
I go to my power ranking, and I go down the
No.
line.
I don't do that.
I mean, makes sense, right?
I think all of the power rankings agree on the top two,
Yeah.
except for mine. I've got the sleeper in there.
Let's see.
Yeah. So for
We're a couple
orange, I
beers
would
thin
go-
now. We might have to say some stuff.
That's what I'm
I would
saying.
go with team.
So,
Oh, fine. Someone else go then.
you know, because
Clearly I'm going to be boring.
here's where I am going to call this out right now. Right, I look at a division like the
Right.
Green Division.
Yep, that's the one I was looking at too.
I see one very clear. Yep, they're in. Give them their ticket to fucking Hollywood now. And then I see pure strategy in the Gosu casuals kicking, scratching, and fucking ripping each other's hair out, trying to get that second spot.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's going to be one of the most interesting races come the end of the season. Now, I would wish that the Filthy Role players will prove me wrong and get their names in there and try to make a push for it. But that's how I see the Green Division playing out. I don't think that one is a clear 2.
Yeah,
No, it's
I think
probably
any
not,
of
but
those
if I had to
four.
lean one way.
Oh man, that's the toughest one to predict for sure. I think you can argue any of those 4 teams gets in or any of those 4 teams gets out, just given on paper how they match up, histories, etc. Yeah, that's going to be a fun ride.
Yeah, it's. I'm trying to look at the other divisions as we make this statement because I do think now, as Slim said, it's pretty obvious which ones go in according to the power rankings. It's not so obvious for Orange, right? Because mostly across the board,
Boom Squad and superheroes are very close.
and then
And
you
Noob
have
Central.
this completely
Central.
almost discredited Noob Central,
Mm-hmm.
who it seems to. I think they thrive on people counting them out. It's almost like the best fuel we could have given Noob Central for this season was putting them last in their division. Because every time we try to count them out, they do things like make a run to the finals and win the whole thing.
Yeah. It's so difficult because they're just so new. I personally don't know anything about any of them, and I barely know Cutthroat as it is.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's just so difficult to make a prediction with them. 4 and 5 look, especially 4, just looks like such a disadvantage, especially in the Orange Division, where you have Asuna and Killajive just waiting for this new guy in God's gift. And I think that's one of those things that you look at and you're like, ooh, that looks rough.
Yeah, even if you look cross-divisional, you have Gideon Echo, Zather, Crayon, who just hit Legend for the first. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
even cross-divisional, it's not an easy go at the 4 spot right now. Actually, even though the power rankings would disagree with me, here's my statement to it, right? Once again, I give Team Rank 5 the lock-in. I think that they're one of the 2 teams. If they're not the top, I'd be shocked. But if they're not the top, I definitely think they're number 2. I think what's going to come down to is how does Boom Squad handle their first big loss? If they implode, I think the superheroes can have an opportunity to sneak in. If they use it as fuel to improve and to make the push, then I think the power rankings might be accurate.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So do we want to go and just like Blue Division, who's your 2?
Yeah, who's left?
Yeah, let's do that.
Alright. I'll say Blue Division is Supreme and Harry Generals. I think that's the easiest one for me.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
I don't think there's a disagreement in the house on that one.
It's up to Team Golden Wisp.
Yeah,
or
sorry,
Top
Golden
Games.
Wisp. If there was a wild card, I'd pick you guys to win it, but there's not.
Well,
So
they have the opportunity to upset it, especially in the head-to-head weeks.
I will kick off the Red Division by saying that I think this is another pretty obvious one from appearances. I think it goes Entropy and Archon Storm. Doesn't matter 1 or 2; they both get in.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Agree.
really and truly,
red team. Yeah,
I'm gonna guess
them as
that.
well.
I'm gonna guess that. We don't even want to say who comes out on top. even.
I mean, if you
No,
want
I
to
just
throw it
wanna
in
say
there,
who's
Okay,
getting in.
let's go with the two. Let's go with the two. Just
Yeah, I like Archon
enough.
Storm and Entropy in red as well.
Yeah.
Continuum could give them a run for their money, though.
Yeah, they're my sleeper pick. I think that they're gonna surprise us.
So who
They
are they
really
going
are.
to surprise and take out?
Entropy.
Okay, Archon Storm Continuum. Interesting.
SF. Almace is gonna get his vengeance.
ouch.
Orange. I think it's going to be Team Rank 5 and Boom Squad. I enjoy playing Quiplash with them too much not to give them the nod here. So we'll go Team Rank 5 and Boom Squad.
I give it to Team Rank 5 and Boom Squad too, but man, it's close with Boom Squad and the superheroes, just like
I
it
can't
was
wait.
mentioned
Yeah.
between the casuals and pure strategy. I think that could be a toss up. We gotta figure it out. Their number one goal is to stop the superheroes from getting there. So
Yep.
I mean, they've got to make good on that, basically.
Yeah, I'm gonna give the nod to Boom Squad. I think Boom Squad is gonna do a lot better than the superheroes.
Ooh, a
Wow.
lot better.
The word "a lot" was thrown in there, folks. That means more than a little.
Indeed.
Yeah, I think I have to jump on the bandwagon, as I already said before. I think it's going to be Team Rank 5 and Boom Squad, as long as they handle that first loss well. Which leads us to the most difficult division.
Here we go.
And I don't think I could argue with my power rankings here. I think that Senpai Slimsh and his beard will groom this fine young team into, by young I mean mostly returning players, just changing one guy, into a playoff bound team. So I think it will be Xernegy and the Ghost of Casuals.
I think
I'll wait a bit.
I'll give the nod to the Gosu Casuals, because Slimsh does Slimsh things, and this ADKT character and this Michael character are both very strong. They're very strong in their seeds. We learned that the hard way when we played them. And Jing Buddha, he doesn't have to be a captain this season, so I think that captaining time can be devoted into improving. So even though I just said he's kind of been taken down a peg as a player, I think he's going to step up a peg. Odefin has learning on the fly to do. Hopefully that can be pulled off. And then, pure strategy is going to the postseason.
Wow, I think it's just because you like hearing Hambo and talk.
Rip his energy.
Yuri-
Man, Benny's in chat. He's gonna be so sad.
Yeah, Yuri is one of the best players in the league. Ham Bowen is I think he's a great player. I think he's very solid. This Bork dude's a question mark. Yeah, Applesauce Factory is Sergeant Hendog. They
Oh,
are
yeah.
a pair. They got to stay
the
together.
package deal.
And Sergeant Hendog just pulled off a sweep this week. Like, they are ready. They're just ready to rock and roll. I applaud Ham Bowen for finding a way to keep those two together, even though he maybe took like a PR hit in doing so. I think it's going to pay off wonders. And Xernegy, I'm sorry, guys. I think Gideon Echo was the biggest loss in the whole offseason. I really do. And he is no longer with them. And he is replaced by two guys who have played in THL in the past. They took a whole season off. And I have Pastry on my friends list. We used to be teammates. I don't know about the Sacred Jew. I don't know how much Hearthstone they've played. It's one thing to take a season off THL and still really keep in touch with Hearthstone and the meta and building decks and playing on ladder. I don't think Pastry's done a lot of that, and I don't know about the Sacred Jew. So I think there's an adjustment period that could be really costly there.
Oh, Pastry. That mech paladin, never forget.
Ragnaros, never forget.
As long as
Yeah.
Pastry stays on stream, he'll be okay.
Mm-hmm.
He does great things there.
The stream god.
Jedi, did you want to say your two?
Yeah, for green, I think Gosu and I don't know. It's really close between Xernegy and Pure Strategy. I think I want to put Pure Strategy lower just because I feel like at the beginning of the past several seasons we've said, "Oh my God, Pure Strategy is going to be so overpowered," and they've kind of like had disappointing results each season. So I maybe kind of
last season they were really good until they had like a do not submit by like 4 different people in the last
Yeah,
week.
that was rough.
Outside
Yeah.
of that, they were right there until the very end.
They were.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna give the nod to Pure Strategy. I believe in Hambowen.
I do too.
We believe in
And
the
Yuri.
Hambone.
Oh,
Okay.
Yuri is so good.
Yeah, we
Alright.
know about Yuri.
Well, I'll go with the Gosu casuals. I can see the concerns for the. It definitely is. It doesn't like I didn't place our team that highly. I mean, I do believe in our ability to get to the playoffs, but there are definitely some transitions going on right now, and it is a little hard. Some players have a lot happening in real life. Some are moving. Some have a lot of things that they're adapting to outside the game. So prep work becomes a little bit difficult. Of course, I love the prep work. If I can ever fire ideas back and forth with anyone, if they give me the chance, then I'll always do it. But yeah, for these first few weeks, it's a bit tough. We got a format to adjust to, a lot of different things. But I'll give it to us, and I'm gonna. Pure strategy is really close, but I still think Xenergy is really quite a bit. They still have Vendi, they still have Katoda. I think Pastry is going to fit back in nicely. I don't think that Vendi's a pretty experienced captain. I don't think he'd pick him up if he wasn't going to, do well there. So I don't know. I still believe in Synergy. They've been, I don't know. They've been just so consistent throughout the seasons. It's hard to see that slip up, for me, at least. So yeah.
I just really worry about the bottom of their lineup.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's my big concern. With
Yeah,
them.
the bottom's becoming more and more important.
well, a lot of
For
teams
sure.
top loaded, man, and then a lot of lower seeds are improving, as we stated earlier.
Yeah.
So
It can be a heavy burden. Like, you could be a really good 1 seed, but I mean, anyone can take games off of you,
it's true.
no matter what. Edges are easier to find in the lower seeds, I think.
So we come into the first week of play. We've already got a few matches already decided. They're up on. You know, I want to promote some traffic to the website. They're up on the week 1 tab of the THL website. I will actually even paste it in here for you guys to go check out. Spend some time. Oh, look at that sniped. Check out some of the results we've had already, but we do have some interesting matchups slated here. Did I ever receive the official what Salty Saturday is going to look like, or is that still up in the air?
We're still looking for the third match, but right now we have confirmed, or mostly confirmed.
Entropy drink.
Asuna? Yeah. Zather versus Asuna.
Ooh.
Which looks like it's going to be a really good match of 2 very strong 4 seeds.
Yeah.
And then Gern Blanston versus Josh Sampson.
Former Entropy drink.
Okay.
That's right.
So I'm just going to say this now to hype it up. There is a deck that Zather is bringing that it's legit, but it's fucking hilarious at the same time.
Oh boy.
No, like,
oh my god.
unlike me, hilarious.
So it's got to be like a lease.
Unlike me, hilarious, where you're gonna see some dank whispers. His actually wins the majority of its games.
This is Zather?
Yeah, even Twiz had to give it a nod, man. Even Twiz had to give it a nod of, wow, I didn't see that coming, and more importantly, I did not expect it to work as well as it did. So,
is it the priest?
dude, you think I would give hints here? I've already said too much.
It's the priest.
It's got to be like a lease priest.
People are gonna be googling obscure but
Sorry, Jax, Alex.
efficient.
It's the priest.
Yeah.
So you're gonna have to tune in.
Priest.
You have to tune in to figure out exactly which one it is. But I'm pumped for him to
Shadow form priest.
first match back in the
Agro
THL on stream. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. Good times.
Gonna get banned.
But we do have a couple of other matchups I just want to touch on quickly because ran over a little bit longer than I wanted to with power rankings. But over in the blue division, as we said, we're going to see one of the 2 matchups that we're really interested in. But let's visit first Andy Rogers versus Alex Straza. I am so hyped on Alex Straza. I would have picked him up had I had the room. I think I've said this several times already. I think very highly of him. I've played him in the Wicked Wednesdays. quickly realize that you're probably not going to get anything serious out of him on a Wicked Wednesday. But had a
He
great
loves his troll decks.
dude. The sad thing is though is he plays them so well they don't feel like troll decks.
No,
So
it's true.
he's facing off against Andy Rogers, who we all know, we have all seen. He definitely brings a certain level of skill to the table. So here's what I'll do. One by one, you're just going to give me a winner and a line or two of your thoughts on how this one plays out if you want to. If you don't have anything to say, just your winner. All right? So, Slimsh, you got Andy or you got Alex Straza?
So I don't know. I want to just talk a little bit, if I may.
Yeah, go
Go
for
for
it.
it.
I don't know. I like these two players a lot. I've gotten to hang out with Alex Strauss a lot. I've known the seasons of THL. I played against him a bunch, and he always offers to play joke decks. I don't know if he does that for everyone, but he does it for me, and I wonder if he did it for Alex Straza, and more importantly, if he'll take him up on it. Because I never had. But I don't know. We were talking with Alex Straza just a little while ago in Discord. He was a tiny bit nervous. Like, he's new to the league.
Yep.
He's still trying
that
to figure
feeling,
this
man.
out. Like, I think that's just natural. Like, Andy
Doesn't
Rogers
go
is
away.
Mm.
Like, Andy is just a total veteran, so I see Andy winning. I think it'll be pretty close, though. Like, you can't discount Alex Straza. I think he.
By the way, Slimsh, it's underway
he hit
right
legend,
now.
like 8th. What's
Yeah,
that?
they're about to play now.
It's underway
they are.
at the moment. Yep.
Underway. Yeah, and if Andy Rogers can win, then I get to play him next week, and I really want to play Andy again. So that's another factor. I think Andy's gonna win.
Jedi, who
Wait,
do you
Andy's
got in
playing
this
right
one?
now?
Yes, they're about to get underway.
Oh, I thought he was playing tomorrow. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, no, I'm going with Andy for sure.
Andy for sure.
My boy. He's been, he just had a long trip to India, so he may be a little bit rusty, and so maybe he's the underdog, but he's gonna win.
All right.
You know what, Alex Strauss, I see you, man. You're gonna win this.
Yeah, see, I'm on the Alex Strauss bandwagon as
yep.
well.
He can play. Andy, it feels like he's a little behind on the meta right now. Alex Strauss is definitely not, and I think Alex Strauss is gonna find a way to get a win. He's not bringing Murloc Paladin though, which makes me really sad because he plays that deck so well. But I still think he's gonna scratch out a win here. Probably 2-3. I wouldn't pick either player to win more than 3-2.
Yeah. So I'll also jump on the Alex Strauss bandwagon for all the reasons I've mentioned whenever I mention his name on this show we're doing here. Which brings us to the other blue division. And by the way, these are blue-green divisions as we're cross-divisional this week. Josh Sampson versus my boy, Gurm Blanston. It's got a nice ring to it. I'm going to hold off till last here because Gurn's my boy.
Samson's out for blood. I'm picking Samson. 3-1.
Baby.
He is ready to rock and roll after that disappointing season last season. He's down in the 4 spot. He's coming off like a Magic the Gathering top 8 at a tournament or like a Grand Prix or something crazy. And yeah, he's out for blood. He's going to win that this week.
Ooh, I see your face down there, Jedi.
This ain't Magic the Gathering.
No, it's a more simple card game.
This is Hearthstone.
No, I know what kind of preparation that Gurn Blanston's been putting in the off season. I'm picking him all the way.
Wow, I love it.
I'm gonna go with Josh Sampson. I think he's in a much more comfortable seed than he was in the previous season. I see he's rocking the Rogue again. People don't really do that unless they mean business, especially since Rogue has gotten a lot more legit and figured out. In the meantime, it's actually dug itself out of Tier 4 and Tempo Storm's Meta Snapshot, if that means anything for all of you out there. So yeah, I give it to Josh Sampson. 3-1 sounds accurate.
Wow.
Griff Gurn Blanston.
So I think
Josh Sampson looks to be a really strong force.
Yep.
I think he's going to find a
he
much
was a
better
dominant.
home
He
there.
was a champion 5, and he went up. He got humbled a little bit. Now I think he's right where he belongs in the 4.
Yeah, I
For
think
now.
he'll be much better there.
so. I have to say it. I think just like the Democratic Party, everybody's gonna feel the gurn.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
So
Oh, no.
I've been talking.
Feel the Gurn.
I think he's going to be to the 4 seed this season what Inbulk was to the 3 seed, 2 seed, and when he was there the 1 seed last season. I think he's going to be the guy everybody sleeps on, and he's going to have a great year. I think he has one of the greatest upsides of any player in the THL. The only thing that I think limits him is his lack of time with the game and what that means to being a Hearthstone player as far as building your collection and experience with the decks. If he's been putting in the work this offseason, if he's been getting that collection up, I have no doubt that he's going to put in work this season. So feel the gurn, guys. Feel the gurn. This is why Australians drive me nuts. Our Google chat just went off, knowing that he's in match right now. I'm expecting Twiz to give us some live results, and instead he's informing me on what a goon bag is. If you want to waste some time, you could talk about it with Salt in chat right here rather than the results of the match he just played.
Live result update. Viriday has again fallen to Cutthroat, 3-2.
Rip!
Wow.
Revenge for the playoffs. Cutthroat is just continuing this amazing run he's on and has taken down Viriday 3-2.
These live results are fun. We should have more. We should schedule.
Yeah, I like this. I like a lot.
Talk.
It feels bad that they're not here in the chat, but it feels good to be getting like these live updates. I feel like I'm at the.
Have we not mentioned any of the other scores?
We should have like a scrolling banner that we just.
Oh my gosh!
Them as they go.
This feels good, man. So, who's next? Who's next on the list? We gotta keep cranking here. The Green Division.
Down green now.
Yeah. So
Slim's dear Jason.
I mean,
God help me.
We've been seeing a lot from these guys as of late. I'm sure we know what they're all about, but this matchup is too damn good to not at least mention. So Slimsh, how do you feel, man? How do you feel?
Don't put me. I feel
obviously you're picking yourself. Obviously you're picking yourself.
So, all right. So we don't have in this new format. We don't have multiple decks to build. We have single decks per class.
Yep.
Research on your opponent ahead of time to pick the correct classes to build the right decks for is crucial. Mm-hmm. So I've actually gotten to play against Dear Jason a little bit. I ran into him last season. I ran into him in Wicked Wednesday. I've seen... no, that's really the extent of it. But even before then, like Jingbu, I've gotten a little bit of intel on like who Dear Jason is, what decks he likes to play, what archetypes he favors. So right from the get-go, I picked the classes that I could build to beat him, basically. Like to lock in one kind of archetype, if you will, that would maximize my chances to beat him. So I feel really well prepared versus Dear Jason. He's probably my scariest opponent I'll play this entire season. So I could understand not being able to beat him, but I don't know. I feel really good against him. I wanna lock him out of getting that 500 PR because he's right there.
Oh baby!
I want to be a gatekeeper.
Who's your Who's your keymaster? So Jedi, who do you have in this battle of the Titans here?
I'm gonna go with my boy Slimsh.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Cassie, do you disagree?
I wouldn't blame
I'm
anyone
Dear
for going the
Jason.
other way.
Wow.
Dear Jason is just destroying open qualifiers left and right. And I think he can play any deck out there. And so homework is great. I don't know if we can even pick what deck he's going to play. And
maybe he'll bring some fun.
Slimsh is just due for a damn loss, man. You know, I mean, that's what it comes down to here. He is just due. He MC teched a Dr. Boom on a 1-4 last night. It's time somebody beats him.
Hey, it was only fair with you had what 19 damage burst in that zoo game before. These things even out after a while. That was a turn 7 Dr. Boom, by the way. You deserve.
Wow. Oh man.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
I you know what? I'm always one of those guys when I played Fable, I was perfectly good I always save the people when there's a choice between gold or saving the person. I'm the type of dude that gives you your settlers back in Civ, right? So
That's some good diplomatic right there.
I need the good guy of THL, the bearded beauty, to pull one out for the good guys all around the world. So, you know what? This is Slim. This is for you bringing joke decks to the THL All Stars. You're winning this
Oh my
one.
god. You guys in chat, they're saying that if I don't win, they're gonna.
I couldn't hear you. They cut off your mic and mute you. Oh my gosh, they're gonna pick Rainer every time in HOTS from you.
First pick.
I'm gonna be done.
How are you gonna
I have to
play?
win.
How are you gonna play?
I can't anymore.
Wow. So let's move on to Pastry versus Hupner, the Hunter from Team Golden Wisp, who we've seen
Yes.
play on the
Yeah.
Tavern Talk Throwdown. Is this one being streamed? Because if it's being streamed, I go with Pastry. If it's not being streamed,
That's a maybe. We're waiting.
so here's my official pick. If it's streamed, Pastry. If it's not streamed, still Pastry.
Okay.
I
I'm
can
going to
get behind
disagree and pick Hupner.
Why is his name Hupnar?
I'm sure it has something to do with mispronouncing Hunter.
Okay.
Yeah. I agree with Jack Sox.
And Slimsh takes
That was
9
too
hours.
strong.
We're gonna have to put you on clock here, Mr. Slimsh.
Oh, I didn't know you were waiting for me. I'm gonna go with Hunter on this one.
Wow. So
I like
that's a
his lineup
50-50
lot. It's
split.
one I was considering quite a bit.
That is a 50-50 split right there, folks. So that's
Mhm.
a coin. That's
Are
a
we going
coin
to
flip.
track these again this season?
I should have started that from the
Yeah,
yeah. I
we have
would,
a VOD.
you know,
Yeah,
yeah.
we
I'll
should
go
do
back. I'll go back on the VOD, or maybe you guys can assist me with that too if I forget to get these down. I need to redeem myself
Okay.
after last season. All right, let's skip on to the matchups that I want to talk about, such as Furpo versus D Lyman in the red division. Oh my god!
That's a good one.
Oh my god! I am so excited about this one.
Pretty good.
I am so
Pretty
excited
good.
about this one.
Yeah.
This one's not being streamed, right?
No.
Damn it, Furpo! I'm
They're
blaming
playing
that.
on Sunday or something.
I'm blaming that one 100% on Furpo, even though I know it was D Lyman who has the thing, the obligation. So
I do have some cool Furpo news to spoil, though. He will be casting on Salty Saturday.
Nice.
that's cool.
Very
Yeah.
cool.
I'm actually he's got a good voice too. I like his voice. I like hearing
Mhm.
it in team practices. It soothes me. Sorry, I've drank quite a bit of beer, but it's still true.
Alright.
So
Some Veer Pride in the chat.
so Cassie, I know this is one you're hyped for. How do you see it playing out?
I gotta look at classes here. So I'm looking at Furpo. Let's scroll up to D lineman.
I wasn't even gonna look at the class.
Ooh. Ooh, there's a priest.
Oh, classic D lineman. Classic D lineman.
Classic D
I'm gonna
lineman.
go with Furpo. I think Furpo's gonna pull one out. I think he's gonna go over that 400 mark and he's never gonna look back.
Let's go, Furpo. That's my boy. Jedi,
I'm
do you
gonna differ here.
all right,
Oh,
Slim?
you're gonna
No, go ahead, Slim. If you're ready, let's roll.
I'm going to D lineman. I think I've seen all playing lately. The archetypes. I think Furpo brought a hunter, and that seals his fate. He is ripped.
Ooh, good point. It's a good point.
Yeah. D lineman's just got. I won't.
Lot of
spoil too
hunter
much,
hate
but I think
there,
he's gonna
yeah.
put it. He made it to what, top 16, or was it top 8 even in Tuesday night? I think
Top 8.
D lineman's gonna put on his big boy pants and lead boom squad,
Yeah, now that you
and
said
that's
that
gonna
about
start
the
with a week
hunter,
1 win.
I'm going back on that.
Yeah,
The
Hunter's
hunter
ripped.
thing. Yeah, Hunter's dead.
Rip.
More fuel for the entropy fire. We don't care. Throw another log on it, motherfuckers. Throw another log on the Bobby. Jedi, how you see it going, man?
All right. I'm going to go with Furpo. Not for any logical or thoughtful reason.
Other than
but
we like them.
because I want to plug this right here. If you haven't seen it yet, go on our YouTube channel and watch the troll tournament that Furpo won.
Oh my god,
And
so
just
good.
appreciate the man.
So good.
Yeah. And for that reason, I picked Furbo.
I like it. So we're gonna skip past what we were gonna talk about next because it's already been done in Beast Mode versus Almace. As we already said, Almace won that in a very close 3-2. So shout out to Almace for locking up a win week 1, which by the way is a tradition of his, locking up the week 1 victory.
Week 1 last season was Dear Jason, was it not?
Yes, he did beat Dear Jason week 1.
That was pretty big.
So
Got him.
these haven't been decided, right? I think both of these are pretty interesting. Although I will say one of them I see I kind of see both being lopsided, but I think they're interesting to look at. And this is in the Orange Division with Killajive on his new squad,
Yeah, buddy.
in Team Rank 5, ready to put in work, ready to get the job done, but going up against Lemur, who's coming off of a super successful season in Season 1. I have to give this one to Killajive just because I think he is one of those brilliant Hearthstone minds out there. I also think that getting him in the freaking 4 spot is a steal and a half. It must have been on the clearance rack because there's no fucking way he should have cost that amount.
That's just how Team Rank 5 operates.
So
Those types of players get to go there.
so we're gonna go the other way. We're gonna make Cassidy wait to talk about his team this time. Slimsh,
That's fine.
who you got here, Slimsh?
I go with Killajive, but I think it's going to be fairly close. Actually, I don't know too much. I know Lemur. He's been on the rise. I kind of miss Lemur a little bit, but I have some faith in him. I think he can take Killajive to a 5-game series. But yeah, it's hard to see Killajive not winning. It's just going to be an interesting matchup. Both of them are on new teams. They're going to go head-to-head in seeds that they're really not actually familiar with.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be harder for one, a little bit easier for the other on paper. But, you never know. Give it to Killa, though. Although he's been playing nothing but Civ 5 and Undertale recently.
Yeah, we're a little worried about that.
It's okay, Dad. Dad, it's okay.
Dad, yeah.
So if you are currently right-clicking on a Civ unit and you hear my voice, practice some Hearthstone, big guy. Thanks.
Cassie doesn't respect the Civ.
It's okay. I'm not sure I get the hype, but that's okay. I think I'm just too stupid for that game.
So, Jedi,
So what you
bringing us back from this awesome banter that's happening to your pick.
Yes.
please do?
Do you have the Jive or do you have the Samson? No, not the Samson. The Lemur. I forgot who we're talking about. Lemur.
Woo!
Okay. Or was that your pick, or was that just you helping me remember what the hell I was talking about?
No, my heart wants Lemur, and my head says Killajive.
So you got to go with the heart.
Yeah, okay.
Obviously.
Yeah. Thanks for helping me with that, Cassidy.
Yeah, no problem, man. Team Rank 5, we're okay.
So, Cassie, should I just go ahead and chalk you up for a Killajive?
You should, yes.
Yeah.
Killajive. Oh, man, he's in chat tonight, too. He's going to get so mad. Killajive is right there. He is pushing for the new favorite teammate title. Killajive's the best. He is like a 17-year-old Imbolc with a Midwestern white kid accent. And I love calling him a teammate. He's such a good fit with us.
Oh, baby. Alex Strauss is up 2-1 versus Andy Rogers. We're about to get proved wrong.
I'm about to get proved right.
I'm super bummed to find out that Twizz's
Look at
match
you.
got rescheduled. Super bummed. Sad face. You know what? We don't want to hear any of that talk. So just jack that. So the last matchup we decided that we're gonna highlight here, which I happen to think is going to. I'm sorry because I like this guy a lot. Ripperoni, that too. Mr. Nade, because I unfortunately think you're gonna get a rude welcome back from Mr. Hearthstone here. Only reason I'm saying this is because you got Hertz, one of the hottest players going right now, against Nade, who's coming back in after a little time away from the THL, and
Hmm.
I just don't know, like, if it were anybody outside of Hertz and the head of steam that he's got going. I just think he's too. He's according to Magatu, he's just hot right now.
Okay. That's a tough one.
Love the
think-
Zoolander reference, by the way.
It really is.
I think
My fellow
Hurts?
undefeated brother.
Hertz is up a seed from where he has been dominating. He's up to the 3 from the 4, which is a pretty good jump. And Hertz, and well, the whole team, not Hertz, everybody. Clark Kent, Hertz, Nubasaurus. Telling you, man, that the lack of the Viridae email chain is going to hurt everyone. And as long as that is not an 8-page email with correctly formatted bold, italics, the whole 9 yards, I think the preparation side is going to hurt people. And I think Hertz may see that. I do think he's going to win this week. I think it's going to be close. I don't think he's going undefeated again, though. Love him. He's a great dude. He got me into the Paragon beta. Shout out. But
Yeah, Saturday.
I think he's going to come back down to earth a little bit. But I'm with you on the whole Nate is new, running a team full of people that are new. I do think Hertz is going to pull it out this week.
Yeah, I think it'll be close, but I do. My fellow undefeated brother over there in Archon Storm, even going up a seed, like I think this is where he belongs, and he's even above average at this seed. Even like he was ridiculously good at the 4 seed, like almost like hilariously looking at it. But now I think he's in a really solid spot still. I think he'll perform really well here. And, we don't know too much about Nate. Haven't seen him in a little while. I think Hertz will take it. I think it'll be kind of close though.
So
Yeah, I don't know with the without Viridae, I don't know where Hertz is going to get his decks from. Hopefully he goes to Tempo
Oh,
Storm
shit!
and not autofill.
Apparently he really like he gives Hertz a lot of decks. Like
He
sometimes
said
he's
it.
not very familiar with him at all.
He said
Oh,
it.
shit.
I'm thinking.
Put that plug out there.
Oh shit!
Maybe
Fear
they'll
champ!
reward us.
Fear
I
champ!
tried to beat around the bush, Jedi, and Jedi's like, nah, cut that thing down.
I mean, he'll tell you the same thing.
Wait a minute. Oh, Hertz done it.
Hertz is a great player. He's just going to be playing with decks that are a month old.
Yeah, he's a really good pilot, but now he's got to build the plane, right?
Oh my god, he's on the priest type though.
I just think he might be building the plane while he's trying to fly it. So.
There you go. Oh, I wish I had a different 2-drop there. Well,
Oh man! All right. So now that those shots have been fired, so because we're running a little long on time tonight, we're not going to dodge it any longer, but we might have to skip Q&A because of it.
Rip.
Yeah, but I think this is really the question people want answered. And there's a little disclaimer before this. We are going to talk about the new format. We are going to talk about standard. But the opinions we are expressing here are solely our personal opinions. They're not anything THL official. It's just how Cassie, Slimsh, Jedi, or myself feels about it. So just because one of us says something, don't jump to the conclusion that that's what THL is doing. But the 4 of us do tend to vote on things in the THL. So anyway.
THL has not made an official decision, but we're close. We're just not ready to announce it yet.
Right.
Really close.
So,
Kappa.
who wants to start it? This is one of those topics that's like, I feel like we're checking on a radio right now, and we're drawing straws to see who opens the cap.
Oh, I'll open it.
All right.
Go.
So I love this switch to standard format for a lot of reasons, a lot of which have been touched on by everybody and their mother over the last couple weeks. You know, lower buy-in cost, more fun playing with more cards. You disable power creep because you're not constantly printing cards saying, wow, how can we make this better than Shredder? Otherwise, it's not going to get played, et cetera, et cetera. The new one that I want to touch on, because I've been thinking about this a lot, is that a meta game in a card game should inherently and intrinsically and naturally be circular, right? And so for 2 weeks, you may see a deck or two decks that are quote unquote top tier on a meta snapshot. And they're winning, they're the best decks, they're beating everybody else in that current meta game. In a healthy card game, that is not what Hearthstone has kind of devolved into the last couple months. That metagame should be circular because people should be able to say, wow, Secret Paladin and Midrange Druid are everywhere. I want to beat those decks. I'm going to brew lists that just beat those decks. And it's still a decent deck, but I'm aiming at beating those. And so that should happen on its own. And then those decks rise up inherently because they're seeing more of the current metagame and they're beating the current metagame. And then we play this game again where, okay, there's another deck that keeps those decks in check. And we're going to play that. Kind of the way, the best Hearthstone comparison I can make was when Patron was not nerfed yet. And so you had Patron, which beat everything. And then you had Handlock, which beat Patron. And then you had Hunter, which beat Handlock. And so what sucked was we had a 3-class meta in Hearthstone for a while. Mm-hmm. But we had a meta that inherently kind of kept itself in check. And we have not had that since the Patron nerf because Secret Paladin is broken. And Midrange Druid is borderline broken. And we're always going to have broken top-tier decks with the release of new cards if every card has been playable in the past, if that makes sense. And we don't have enough of a card pool yet to counter things because when Blizzard prints a broken card, it takes a lot of broken cards to beat a lot of already broken cards, and Blizzard releases cards kind of slowly, and they're not all broken. You know where I'm going with this. And so with Standard, I think we can have a circular, more healthy or healthier metagame that can kind of hold itself in check while we're waiting on new content to be released, which will keep the game feeling fresher as a whole, I hope.
Got them.
Yeah.
I'm ready.
Go for it, Slim.
Yeah, so initially, I think unlike a lot of members of really any experience with other TCGs like Magic, I have extremely limited experience within Yu-Gi-Oh! Like, it's a joke basically for me to say that I was a Yu-Gi-Oh! Player.
You ruled the black.
Same goes for Pokemon. Yeah, black.
I money match kids to take
middle school,
grade.
Man. Same goes for Pokemon TCG. Like, I was in 5th grade or something. Yeah. So initially, like, my reaction to the standard format announcement was not like very positive. I looked at it, kind of. Because over time, like, there's cards in Naxxramas and GVG sets which they said that they were going to be rotating out that I just identified as being so important in their roles to Hearthstone, and it got a little, sad about them getting cycled out and not being able to play with them anymore in this format. But then I started to think about it a little bit more, started to see some of the positives in Standard, such as, okay, GVG's cycled out, Nax is cycled out, some of the most powerful in the game are gone. Shredder's gone. They could never one-up Shredder, and they certainly weren't nerfing him. They weren't doing I don't think they were really doing it with Sludge Belcher, Zombie Chow, things like that. A lot of people complain about Mad Scientist. I think it's just going to be a huge breath of fresh air to walk away from these cards a little bit. And then I think on top of that, if you look at the kind of expansion that TGT was, it was very, very low impact. Like, I think if you look card by card, I think about 15% of them or so were impactful. And I think that was just a reflection of how powerful and Naxxramas before it. Like, at some point, you just can't compete with these old cards. It just becomes too hard. Like, you can print a few really good cards here and there. In TGT, some of those snuck by. Some of them were really interesting. Some of them had Inspire effects that were actually fairly viable. But overall, like, I feel like if Hearthstone was just going to continue to go on as it was, then expansions were just going to be lackluster like that. League of Explorers was pretty good, but that's an adventure. That's small. Like, I think those expansions will always have the potential to be more exciting because they're not so big and at once as the other ones. So I think, and then on top of that, before I had even heard of them revisiting basic and classic cards for balancing for nerfs, that's what really pushed me over the edge, because I think so many people have wanted this for so long and they just weren't going to touch it, but now they are. And I think it's just going to be really, really refreshing when it hits, as long as the new expansion that comes in to replace GVG that's getting cycled out, it has to be really, really, really good. That's my number one hope. If it's not, because there's going to be an overall power level decrease in next, loss of GVG, loss of 2 to 20. That's a huge range. I wish they'd be more basic cards. Like, the power level is going to decrease, and they're going to fill in more expansions for the rotation set throughout the year. But I don't know. I just hope it's a really, really good expansion, and then I'll be happy. If it's a little lackluster, I'll be not so happy. But overall, it's a good thing.
The other point you made about viable cards getting printed that Alec and Hunter touched on in Golden Wisp was the community happiness cycle, they coined it, and that as long as new cards were being printed, like every expansion that came out, the community as a whole was like content and happy with the game for a smaller amount of time, right? Because like it took less and less time to realize, oh, well, these cards don't compete with Shielded Minibot or Mad Scientist, so I'm never going to play them. All right, I hate Hearthstone again. And like Adventures do a good job of that because every week there's new cards to dabble with. But like I just remember TGT came out and it took like 2 days and people were like, these cards suck. And it was just so sad. Like so
Sixo lost a bunch of
now we'll have
ATLC
like
with Secret, but and eventually it got refined and it was OP.
Hopefully now we'll have like a month long, maybe not a month, but like 2 weeks of just a super unstable ladder meta because people are experimenting with things. And like hopefully homebrew decks can be a little more viable and get you out of like rank 18 now.
Got him.
What about you, Jedi? What do you think?
Yeah, so I hear Blizzard talking about how the wild format, they care about balancing it, and I don't really believe that. I mean,
I think
they call it
as much as they care about balancing the game now, Kappa.
Yeah, I mean they named it Wild, right? and the other thing too, that which I think is honestly the biggest negative about all of this is not selling packs to the to those older like rotated out sets. I think that indicates like they're not selling those packs because they know how much they're decreasing their value, right? And like they don't. It's just going to be like they're not going to worry about balancing that at all. So I really think that there's such slim chance that Wild is like has any viability as a competitive format. I'm super excited. I love like having that cycle of a year is going to be so cool, right? So like the year of the pirates or something like that, you know, like when the pirate meta was crazy and things and all that stuff's changing, and like you just know that we don't have to wait for Blizzard to nerf something anymore. Like it'll just go away. And that's nice.
Which is fun because like I had a lot of fun with Mysterious Challenger these last 5 months. But seeing that deck go away is a good thing for Hearthstone. So feels good, man.
Feels good, man.
So I have mixed emotions on this from two different perspectives: the competitive side and the community side. Competitively, I think it evens the playing field in the sense of like, or not. Sorry, evens is not the word I'm looking for. Balances the playing field as in giving you more options, as we already discussed, of Secret Paladin and the mid-range Druid. As like these really, you have to be able to play at least one of these two decks to feel like you're playing top tier decks. I mean, that's all well and good, but I've also heard arguments in favor of and against it based on this entry for new players versus old players being able to keep up. Which, I mean, I guess you really decide. You look at it this way: are you looking at it as a business model or to grow your community? As a business model, you want to cater to new players because old players, you've already got their money, plain and simple. But I think for all the reasons these guys said, competitively, keeping it fresh, keeping it balanced, making the game more interesting, yes, I like it. What I fear, and I've witnessed this happen in other TCGs I've played as somebody who used to be really heavily into Magic, is when they came out with Modern and you kind of chose between Modern and Standard. It definitely split the group of people I played with into the two different groups of those who enjoyed one format over the other. And so it's like, while I understand the competitive need for it and what it will do for what we do here at THL, overall, I've already had a few people that tell me when standard drops, they're probably piecing out of Hearthstone. And that just feels bad for me. Anytime a member of a community feels alienated, it kind of sucks. But the more I've talked to people about like what it's going to do on the competitive scene, I've started coming over. I was sitting on the fence. I started coming over to the in favor side just because of what it's going to bring to competitive play and balancing the field. As somebody who has been very vocal about my feelings towards Secret Paladin, I will be more than happy to see that thing come down off its fucking pedestal. So, I'm gonna miss those couple dudes. Thankfully, none of them were THL, but they're people that I do socially play this game with that are gonna be getting off the game of Hearthstone, and that does suck to see them go. But yeah, I think it was Cassie who brought the point up to me of, like those are the fringe competitive players that probably would have gone anyways, over time.
Probably.
So those are my mixed emotions, but I'm slowly coming to the dark side of. I'm definitely excited for it. I can't wait to change things up and kind of look at new ways of playing the game. And I'm excited to see what the THL does with it. As we said, we're close to a decision there. I'm liking the way the decision's leading. And I hope sooner rather than later we'll have a definitive plan to bring to you guys about it. So
yeah, I was really with you there on being mixed. You guys internal discussions where like at first like I probably started the discussion and I was kind of concerned at first, and then like probably within the span of 24 hours I like turned down and started to talk about a bunch of good things that I was seeing with it. There's positive negatives for sure, but I don't know. There's a lot to think about with it.
Poor shielded Minibot. I'll miss you.
Yeah, there's definitely a few.
They lived long enough to become the villain.
Yeah, they did. That's the good thing. Like Paladin can go back to being the noble underdog and not the villain.
Yeah, buddy. I can't wait for Rexar to come out again. Oh,
Humility,
Humbo, Animal
Stampeding
Companion.
Kodo. Oh,
He's never
time.
leaving.
Yeah.
Savannah Highmane's gonna be one of the best cards in Hearthstone again.
The original Dr. Six.
Let's
go.
I will hunt you down.
So,
hey, can I just call out something real quick? We've got some breaking news.
Yeah.
Andy Rogers has defeated Alex Straza.
Oh no!
Got him. Sorry, Cassidy. That means that's confirmed. And no matter how well poker does, I'm playing Andy next week. Yes.
Wow.
I love playing Andy. Love playing Andy. He's a good
Oh,
card.
you're right. Yeah.
Breaking news, folks.
Might even
I feel
take
like
him
there
up
was
on that offer for joke deck. He always makes it. He always does.
I feel like
Yeah,
there was a PSA we were supposed to get here other than that.
Was there?
I don't know.
Submit your classes. You have 11 minutes.
Yes. You have 11 minutes to submit your class. Guys, for those of you who
Is there
spent
anyone we
Nights-
can call out?
It's Night
oh God,
Smoke.
Night
the
Smoke,
only one.
please.
Do it, Night
Night
Smoke.
Smoke. Night Smoke, please. Rad Dreams, Lemur, Smoke Salmon Comp, let them know.
get there.
We'll be pressing F to pay respect.
I know it was a long show, guys. I know we went over a lot of in-depth nitty-gritty. For some of you, it might have been tedious, but if you're anything like the four of us as we were going over it, man, I really hope you guys enjoyed, by the way, the community poll. I know I talked to a few guys as they were filling it out, and they had a great time with it. It's fun to look at, and the part that might be even more fun is by week 2, we could probably throw half of what we did out the window already. So... So, as much time as we put into it, it's all hypothetical and theoretical. So, we'll see how it actually plays out. Welcome, one and all, to Season 2, which is now officially underway as matches have been reported and completed. I'm fucking hyped as can be. As a matter of fact, I'm like itching to get back on ladder right now, which is not something you normally hear me say. So, we're going to get to that part of the show that makes me sad. But at the same time, with so much to look forward to this weekend, I'm not all that sad. Mr. Slimsh, your parting thoughts, sir.
My parting thoughts are hope that this week we can have some really exciting matches that that are visible to the community. Not only Salty Saturday. I know. I mean, there's opportunities to stream on Fridays. I don't know if Team Rank. There's always Saturday, you know, like in the afternoon outside. There's Sunday, because I think the other day, I think it was with Jing Boot, we were kind of planning out our matches. We just kind of went to the THL page and just scrolled down. We were like, oh my God, there's 80 people in this league now. That's crazy. There's going to be so many matches happening this week. I don't know. I just really like to hope that if anyone's able to stream or cast outside of Salty Saturday, that's not competing with Salty Saturday, maybe we can make it happen. I think Alex Straza, we didn't get to the questions, but he posted a really good one on the page about just asking how to get your match casted. Well, as long as your opponent's cool with it and you find someone who's willing your games, put it on the delay, and cast them, then it's happening. So I think as we get more and more players in the league, the more we keep it visible, the better, because there's just so much happening this week. It's crazy. So I'm just looking forward to see as much of that as possible.
And also, as of right now, we've got an open spot for Salty Saturday. So if you want to play your match on Salty Saturday, email me, JediNinja, on the THL directory.
Especially if you're new.
Is that your parting thought, Jedi? Is to email you?
That's it. Email me and go Generals.
Go Generals. Right on, Mr. Cassidy. Your parting thoughts, sir?
Really bummed. Family's coming down to visit me this weekend, so no Salty Saturday. I don't get to follow the EU prelims as much as I want. Playing my match tonight in this current state, which is scary. But good luck to everybody this season. Put your faith in the light, but you'll never get the same payoff as I do. And looking forward to a great season with all of you. This is so much fun. The off season was the worst, and it's finally over. It feels good, man.
Feels good, man. As always, folks, thank you for tuning into this thing we do on Thursday nights. If you ever play me, I always ask my opponents if you're down to have our match streamed. So keep that in mind. If you want to give the nod preemptively on that one, I'm going to see if I could get my match for this Saturday morning at, I believe we're playing at 10. If you're an early riser, drink a cup of coffee, come watch me miss lethal for 5 turns in a row.
Never forget.
That was a Saturday morning at 10. That was a Saturday morning at 10.
Channel your energy. Make ties lose this weekend. Screw you, Imbolg. He sucks.
So, thank you all so much for tuning in. We will get back to the question and answer segment next week. Make sure you get your matches played. We don't want any DQs, no shenanigans. Somebody get Night Smoke on the line, get him to submit his classes, and we will be
5
here.
minutes.
We will
want that win.
We will be here same bat time, same bat channel next week with your week 1 results, and looking forward to week 2. Until then, everybody have a great night, and good luck on your games.
Bye.